Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Lauren. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be talking about makeup product red flags, okay? Things that when I hear them about a product or see something come out or whatever, they're immediately like red flags go up and I'm just a little bit wary. And a lot of this is just my personal taste, preference, things that I've learned about myself over the years and I try to avoid if I can. So yeah, you'll see as we go along. Really just a fun little video. I hope you guys enjoy and I'd love to know your makeup red flags down below, but let's get into it. All right, the first red flag on my list that I'm gonna be talking about are large eyeshadow palettes. Palettes with tons of shades that look like artists' palettes. And you know, I do have some of these. I'm not saying I will never buy them again, that I've never bought them, that they can't be useful, but I definitely, it's like just, you know, a red flag goes up like, okay, like let's check this out. Okay, let's look at it. What's in here? Because I feel like with these large eyeshadow palettes, one of the biggest things when it was first happening, like when these were first coming out, when I'm thinking of like Morphe back in the day, it was exciting to have this big, like it was just makeup, unabashed makeup in a palette, so much. And that was exciting because before that, I really felt like we were just getting quads, we were just getting quins. There weren't these big palettes. And so it felt like just such a value. If you're into makeup, it just feels like, oh my gosh, just more makeup. Yes, this is amazing. But I feel like as the makeup community has grown, as makeup brands have grown, it's not as novel first off as it was back then, but also big palettes a lot of the times have a lot of repeat shades in them. They kind of give you everything to do a full look. And for makeup artists, that can be great. If it's like the only palette really you work with, that could be great. And you know, even if you like to have repeats, maybe that's fine for you, but in one sitting to buy the same colors or similar colors, I just don't love it. And I find that they don't feel as special to me. So I try to avoid larger palettes, things with 30 plus eyeshadows. I mean, there's like the Be Carnival palettes that are like 100 shades. And I'm like, no, thank you. I also do tend to equate that kind of bigger amount of eyeshadows with something a little bit cheaper in quality. So it's not always the case, you know, but it is something I think about. And a lot of the time when I actually break down a big palette, like I go shade by shade, maybe I'm recreating it with my singles or something like that, I do find the repeats and I find I want to condense it down a little bit more. And I just don't love it. For the times that I am sucked into a bigger palette, there are a few reasons for it. And those are the things that kind of circumvent the red flag. So one, if the eyeshadows in it are interchangeable, I can move them around. I can add them to other things in my collection. Maybe I've already bought some stuff from the brand. I'm thinking things like Natasha Denona or even the big Colourpop palettes. Those can be switched and swapped around. And I really like that versatility in my collection. So that is like a bonus plus if I'm like thinking about it. And specifically, I'm thinking about this new palette that Colourpop has that's absolutely beautiful. We are going to be doing a new beauty launches soon, I promise. It's been a second. We need to talk about some of the new stuff coming out. But I saw this sneak peek of the winter collection and this big palette on its own, there are a lot of like similar colors in here, but I like the colors, so I like the theming, and I do think of this a little bit more. I'm not saying I'm going to buy it, I don't know, but I do like it overall. It looks pretty, but then I love that it can be added almost as singles to the other shadows I have and I can move them around, and it just feels like I can like breathe new life into this palette easier than with something else. So anyway, it's just definitely a red flag for me. It's like a moment of pause, like, hey, maybe pause, like check this out, maybe take a second, a little bit longer, take a gander and make sure it's something that you're gonna like a little bit long term instead of maybe regretting later. So big palettes, definitely a bit of a red flag for me. Just knowing that I love also small quads and palettes, like I just prefer those. I love how tiny they are. I love a curated color story. And I especially when they're like a lot of pans and they're normal size pans or not even mini pans in like a 30 shadow palette, that's like, oh my God, too much, too many eyeshadows. Like I love the variety in color, but I don't necessarily want that much product also. So that's something. Okay, moving on. You guys kind of get it. You probably knew that one. Next makeup red flag for me is specifically like the idea of something locking in place. Like if a product is touted as locking down in place, I know that that can be a great thing. Like I love the idea of the longevity and I want a product to have longevity. I want it to be able to wear nicely over time. But there's like a specific formula of locking down that I'm not the biggest fan of, specifically when it comes to like base products, foundation products, that type of stuff. I don't want my product to like dry down in a way that when I touch it, it doesn't move around. Like that initially is amazing, but I just find over time, these products don't wear nicely on my skin, whether it's like on my face skin. I don't like lip liners that do that. And even eyeliners, I like to be careful about which ones I like because when they're really thick, like that thick liner that then locks down. Again, I don't really love that. I want to be able to like blend it out a little bit. I like having a little bit of an undone look. I like a softer edge. A lot of times those products don't really leave a soft edge. They're a little bit more harsh and then they lock down in that place. And then as you wear them, let's say it's a lip liner, I just find you have like a lot of product here, no product here, and I just don't love how they wear. And then because they lock down in place, good luck getting it off. I mean, like the long wearing is there for where it sticks. And so where it doesn't stick becomes patchy. Where it does stick is like hard to fix that, I guess is what I'm saying. And I don't really love that. I'd rather something be easy to like blot away or touch up. And I feel like those products just don't even touch up very nice overall. I've just had bad experiences. So when it's really like that locked down in place, I'm a little like, I just want long wear. Just say long wearing formula. Okay, that's good. When you're like, it locks in place for 85 hours, you're never getting it off, I'm a little nervous. And I'm definitely wary. Again, especially lip liners, or lipsticks, or really anything. I mean, liquid lipsticks is a little bit of a different story because that's kind of what you do want, but it has to be a really good formula for that. That's not gonna like dry out your lips too much. All right, next on my list, you know, super viral products, they are definitely a red flag for me. I'm sorry, okay? I'm not on TikTok, so I don't know a ton of like the TikTok makeup trends necessarily, unless they come over to YouTube. They've, you know, been a little recycled at that point. They're a little bit older, they're a little bit, you know, probably a little wonky comparedly to TikTok where they've probably originated. But if a product specifically is going viral only in one place of social media and it's not really making its way, I don't know, I just don't really trust it. And I feel bad because I do think that short form content can be really fun. I'm not trying to just shit on it, I promise. But you know, a lot of short form content is just entertaining. Like a lot of it is just like fun to watch. And I don't know how helpful it is sometimes. Again, some people are great, but sometimes for like actually using it and things like that, like it just magnifies hype. You know what I mean? You only have 60 seconds, like, and you know, you want to be entertaining and you want to be loud and fun, and like I get that. But when a product goes viral, sometimes they really are great, but other times they aren't. Apple Balm Foundation from KVD, no. No. Also, I will say too, when products go viral like that and you're seeing them everywhere, it's hard to tell how much is natural, how much is like potentially campaigns, which I don't have a problem with necessarily campaigns happening, but it is a little bit harder, I feel like, to disclose that, / people are just choosing maybe not to disclose it in the same way. I don't know. I'm just a little wary of super viral products, okay? I really am, especially again with short form content, because I do feel like sometimes it is repeating early beauty days. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's just the cycle that it is, but I'm just a little wary. It's a little red flag. Like, is it actually good? I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. Also, we can't deny the filters. Okay, anyway, we're gonna keep going. Next, red flag, pH changing fucking products, okay? I can get down with it, but can we stop pretending it's fucking new? Can we stop pretending it's like the most amazing, innovative, like, oh my gosh thing? Like, it's not. It's not. And so many of those products, some actually do change a little bit different, but a lot of the time I just feel like it's gonna be a hot pink stain. You're gonna have a hot pink stain, whether it's a blush, whether it's a lip product. Like Lipstick Queen was doing this and it was novel back then. That's like 2012, okay? Like this has been happening. Mood changing lip balms, like this has been happening. There's like a really like Gen Z social media brand. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. Euphoria, that's what it is. They have like a blush and everyone seems to really like it, which is great. I'm not saying they're bad products. You know, I just like roll my eyes a little. I'm like, oh, you know, a little red flag of like, is it actually good? And I also saw recently someone swatch all these Tarte ones, like the Tarte lip products that are supposed to be all different colors and they're the same freaking color because it's kind of like it does the same thing. So I just feel like red flag. Like I just think we should all know that it's kind of like, yeah, it's gonna do something, but it's not that different from brand to brand, from product to product. Like just a little bit of a red flag, and I take it with a grain of salt. A lot of these is like take with a grain of salt. Next little makeup red flag, or something that I like look out for and I'm kind of like, no, is when a brand comes out with the same product but just like changes the color. And I'm not talking about like, oh, we had this red lipstick, now we're coming out with a pink lipstick. Obviously that's different. I'm talking more like in the beauty blender realm where it's the same sponge but different colors and different themes, and like it's just like, what is going on here? And I'm sure it's because new product sells. Like people want new stuff, and so they're doing that but not actually doing that. But that's definitely like a red flag to me with that. I'm just kind of like side eye it, like What? Like, I get wanting to have like new product and, you know, wanting to keep interest in your brand. Like, that is just the reality, you know? But I think there are innovative and fun ways to do that that aren't that. Like those, it just feels a little cheap and it feels like a little uncreative and just kind of tired to me. And I don't really love it. Ooh, okay, makeup red flag. And this is just like a beauty red flag, really. When a smaller company or an independent company gets bought out by one of those large big dogs in the cosmetic industry, L'Oreal, Estee Lauder, things like that, I am a red flag. Red flag. Formulas are changing, something's going on. Who knows? They might discontinue stuff. They might shut it down. They might reformulate the perfume if you're in the perfume world. Like, it's usually not good. It's usually like, oh no. No. I feel like a lot of times when the companies get bought by bigger companies that are, you know, they're buying them for making money. I mean, brands, that's businesses, that's what they do. But I feel like you really feel it a lot of the time when that happens. And you can see a lot of the time the change in the marketing, the way products are put out, the new products that are put out, the way old products are changed, and like a lot of like cutting corners, and again, like really capitalizing on profit in a way that might not have been being done initially can change. And I definitely see it as like a red flag of like, oh no, what's gonna happen? I don't love it. I usually don't like that at all. Next red flag. Oh my gosh. This one is subscription beauty brands. Now, I love getting my makeup on a discount. You guys know that. And there are a lot of great brands that happen to be in subscription boxes. And I don't even think it's bad. Like, it could be a great opportunity for an unknown brand to get into subscription boxes, get in people's hands, get their product out there, have people testing it, trying it, getting the word out, whatever. But I do feel like there are a lot of beauty brands that stay subscription boxes brands. Like, you only hear about them in FabFitFun. You only hear about them in Ipsy and BoxyCharm. And it's like, are you real? Are you real? Do you exist outside of this bubble? And again, I'm not saying the products have to be bad or sketchy necessarily. It is a little bit of a red, it's a little bit of a red flag. I would hope that you want to use the boxes maybe as a platform, and then from there, you know, branch out more and achieve more. I'm sure it's lucrative. It must be at some point, because I feel like there are a lot of brands that are like this, but I don't particularly love those types of brands. And I'm not necessarily super interested in them because they just feel like filler, I guess. They don't feel like they have like a point of view and a reason for existing besides money. And I get it, we like want money, but I just want a little more. Like, I want a little passion, and I just feel like sometimes that feels missing, and it feels like they're just like padding for the boxes. And red flag. It's just a little bit of it's just a little bit of red flag for me, okay? I just put for my next red flag Colourpop lip product. So I just don't like Colourpop lip products. That's why it's a red flag. I don't know, everything I've tried from Colourpop in the lip product department has been disappointing. Even if I kind of like the product, whether it's the packaging, like, it just, something is off for me, and I just don't love them. Even back in the day when I think about it, like, I don't remember having that good of like feelings about the lippy sticks even, you know, like, or the lip liners. Those are lip liners that like lock down, you know, or the liquid lips, like any of it, even back in the day. So yeah, and I recently picked up some lip glosses and I really just didn't love them. I feel like they do make a lot of neutral colors, but I feel like they're just always launching a new lip thing, like set of lip products with almost every launch, and I'm like, I can't even keep up, and I just don't like them. And I've just learned that. If anything, this is just a learning lesson for me that Colourpop lip products in general are a red flag. Do not buy, girl. Don't buy them. You don't need them. You're probably not gonna like them. Don't do it to yourself. I have 2 more red flags. This next one, any of the highlighters that come out that are creams that are really relying on the formula being dewy, what I'm gonna dub as like Vaseline highlighters, those are red flags to me, okay? Whether it's a liquid or whatever, if it's one of the ones that just kind of like stays tacky and glistening and like dewy because of the formula, not the actual shimmer products in there, I just need to know, and I'm learning, like, red flag. Like, I'm probably not gonna like that. I'm an oily girl, okay? I have oily skin, and so my skin will get that way. Like, give me time, give me a few hours, and I will produce it. I will produce it from within, and it will come out, and it will be that. So I'm starting with a dewy cheek that is like tacky almost, not really a good look for me. I just don't like it texturally either. Like, I just don't really love that. I think for people with dry skin, it might be really nice if you're really into the glowy look, like you might love them, but it's just a formula over time, and especially as creams and the dewiness and all that has been popular, I've just learned that if I'm seeing that from a brand, I'm definitely like taking a step back and maybe want to swatch it in store first and make sure there's at least something more going on. Maybe it also has shimmer or it also is something else, because if not, I just don't think it's the right fit for me just off the bat, you know, like just by looking. Like I don't need to test it. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna like that, at least right now for my preferences. So maybe that'll change in the future, but definitely a bit of a red flag. I'm just not looking for that. I'm not looking out for that at all. I'm actually steering clear, staying away, U-turning. Okay, last thing I want to put on here is in general glitter. I made a video a while back, it's been a little bit, about glitter and how I don't want to use it, and I will say, like, I still don't use glitter. I try my best not to buy glitter. I do feel like I was spiraling a bit in that video, and I do think when we talk about issues, it's just complicated. There's a lot of moving parts, and yeah. So not that my opinions have changed a ton, but I'm just maybe not as hard on myself if like a glitter piece enters my life, like, you know. But overall, I still try my best not to buy any products with glitter, and you guys know I love shimmer. So when shimmery products come out, I do try my best to look at the ingredients and make sure there's no specifically polyethylene terephthalate glitter or PET glitter. I look for that specific ingredient. Usually it's like the first thing on the ingredient deck. If you're looking, like, that's how you know. Sometimes it's a little bit lower down, but I just look for that. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I'm like the biggest ingredient person. I don't know a lot. And that's one thing too. It's like, you know, specifying this one ingredient and demonizing it. It's like, okay, but like in the wider context, how many other ingredients, like we could get into it, right? We could get into it, but we're not going to right now. And I definitely still though, since then, I really have like let glitter go overall. Like I really don't miss it. I feel like there are lots of other alternatives to sparkly things out there, and I actually tend to prefer it. I like a shimmer that's a little bit thinner and actually isn't, you know, plastic, just for actual texture and even the way it looks. I feel like it looks maybe a little more refined and nice. So that's something I've let go, and I usually, especially with Colourpop palettes, try my best to not get those palettes. Those are a lot of things that actually will keep me away from a Colourpop palette, which is nice. So, but I will say I'm definitely not perfect. Sometimes things slip by, but it is something I try my best to avoid when I can tell, or do some of that ingredient research, you know, before buying, especially too with like K-beauty stuff. I always am in there like looking at ingredients, making sure. But I'm gonna leave it here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'd love to know what your makeup red flags are down below. I obviously went the more lighthearted route overall for this video. They might not be complete turnoffs, but they're definitely like, you know, you need to do a little more research. You need to like get in there a little bit more. I'd love to know what those are for you. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.